Jesus Christ.
All right, so do you want to play this video, and then I want to ask
sure,
Bella what she thinks about this video, and the rest of you guys. You guys tell me what you think.
Do you want to do Ben Shapiro first? Or
let's do Ben Shapiro. Let's do that first, and then we'll do that one second.
Right,
ready? Okay. Can we get this up on screen? Here we go, guys. Hold on to your dicks.
Physiologically, men and women are different, sir. There is no debate about it. Equality is not about physics. Oh my God, this is so basic. We have to get into it. Okay, when we talk about equality and opportunity, we talk about cerebral opportunity. We're not saying I want to be able to be 200 pounds like a man and beat the shit out of somebody else. We're not saying that. We're saying you get the ability to get the job, to be the CEO, and nobody questions when you're driven at 50 and have 3 children, how you're managing it all. Don't question me. That's what I'm saying. I can be a CEO and a mother.
Right. See, this is what feminism used to be.
Because physiologically, men and women are...
Go ahead and stop it. Now, what is your opinion on this? I'm curious. Hold on.
Well, we couldn't hear it.
Hey guys, they couldn't. They couldn't hear it at all.
That's why I keep my eye like here, like open.
Do we know what's going on there?
I was thinking about touching.
Could any of you hear it?
I don't hear it.
You can hear it?
I heard it.
I can hear it. I heard it.
Everybody else heard it?
I couldn't hear it though, but
The chat heard it, I believe.
Everybody feels to hear it.
Okay, well they're gonna get somebody. I'm curious. What did you think? What do you think about that?
I think it's interesting that that Ben Shapiro would even respond to something like this. Quite honestly, as far as like men and women being different, yeah, obviously that's what we talk about. But as far as like what she was saying, like. What do you think?
So when Ben is for those of you who didn't hear it, she was basically saying what women don't want is equality of outcomes or equality of physicality. They want equality with the mental equality, basically where women have the ability to have the same jobs that men do as far as like technical jobs or engineering or whatever like that. And what he's saying is you can't complain about that. And at the end, Ben Shapiro says this is what feminism used to be. And if it's not for equality of outcomes, then that's fine. Nobody has a problem. In fact, I don't even think that's feminism. No. I think feminism to me is equality of outcomes. When you want equality of what's it called? When from the starting line, when we all start from the same spot. I forgot.
Equity.
I
think it's. And it's kind of like progressive speak is what it is. It's kind of like woke speak, more or less. Say the problem that I have when people start bringing up like issues of feminism, it's the fact is like. Everybody wants to say, "Oh, it's about equality. It's about equality."
But equality not exists between women and men.
Exactly. I was going to say, it's like the problem is the word equality. I don't believe in equality, and I don't mean that like I don't think that we should be like have equal standards for men and women.
Not equal. We cannot be
it's the fact that we always refer to equality as if it exists in a vacuum. Like, oh, we got to be equal. No. There are physical differences. Like women can have children and I can't. And if I say, oh, that's horribly inequality. We should change the world so that I can have kids and you can't.
We equally can have an opportunity. We equally can have help each other to achieve some goals. We equally can try to do something, but we are not equal.
But see that's more like we're complements to one another. We're cooperation.
Yeah, we can collaborate and do something together.
So
but we are not equal. Just why
as a guy. My strengths, my inherent innate strengths as a guy complement a woman's weaknesses, and then vice versa too. And I don't see why that is it's a curb this fucking high. How come we can't just wrap our heads around that? And the reason for that is because guys, just like Ben Shapiro as well, but as well as the woman here, I think they're both wrong because. Feminism was never about equality. It was always about restitution and retribution. There's never any waves of freaking feminism. It's this idea that everybody ought to be on the same level. It's a blank slate equalism. We're all blank slates, and it's simply not true.
So this is idea what let's say 200 years ago, woman was keep behind, but just woman didn't want to do anything. We were okay with what we have.
Right.
And so now it's more about now we can choose whatever we want to do. Now we can choose when equal work what you can if we want. But actually, we don't want to.
Yeah, but
we just want to have this opportunity.
So these are
you want the option. I want the option.
But we don't want to use it. Please tell me do not do this.
Right.
Maybe you can do this, but stop it.
We live in a liberal democratic society where legally it doesn't matter what your gender is or your race. You should have the ability to have the same job that someone else, with certain exceptions. Like for instance, women fighting in the infantry because they can't hold a 70-pound rucksack. There's just certain requirements that are necessary. But for the most part, in a lot of other jobs, we don't see that difference. So that if the question is, should they have the right to choose whatever they want, that you're correct. But you made a second point, which makes sense. And that when women were surveyed in the workforce, 83% of them said that if I could have, I would wanted to stay home with the kids. 83% of women said that. So what that says is, while you may have wanted one thing, they wanted that opportunity. A lot of them in the end don't want to have to do that. And the problem, I think, is when women get begrudged for that. So again, you go on TikTok and you see these comments for women are like, I cooked for my man. And they're like, why would you say this? You're setting women back. You're a pick-me. The women are called pick-me's for wanting to do things for their man.
You know, we're always going to yell against like something we're staying for, and like, you know, if I decided to become feminist and now like I don't cook, I don't clean, I don't do anything, of course I'm going to degrade everyone who doing opposite, because I need to prove my point somehow. And if I don't have any like, you know, like reasons to prove it, like, so of course I have to like come at you. Like,
it'd be funny to see
for
like
some people it's cool like to do like, you know, like to go to the boot camp or like, you know, like to try to do something like some of men work, like because they need a discipline, but for someone no. And like, you know, we cannot talk like for all the species. Like I cannot talk for all women who wants to cook or like who wants to fuck.
For
like,
sure.
You know, sometimes I want to cook, sometimes I want to fuck, sometimes I want to sleep.
Yeah, I didn't think this was that controversial. But I do understand what like you disagree with Ben, but I do kind of agree with what Ben's saying. Is like maybe that isn't actually. It's kind of like with red pill. You know how they distort what red pill actually means. I think it's one of these situations where if the function of it was equality of outcomes, then I do believe that is unrealistic, and that is what feminism is. But I don't think that the idea that we should all start from the same place and at least have the right to, regardless of whether or not it's a good idea.
So,
I don't
like,
think it's wrong.
when we talk about equality of opportunity, there's also you have to be realistic in that equality of that opportunity in the first place. So it's like, should women have the ability to, or the opportunity, I should say, to be a firefighter, right?
I don't want equality because I don't want to be like a lineman doing the power lines. I don't want to be doing underwater welding.
Okay. So
fuck that.
But so now let me ask you. Okay, so that's a good question. Now let me ask you this: do you think you should have the opportunity, or women should have the opportunity to be an underwater welder or a lineman or a fireman or a garbage
I think
it's never. You know, it's funny. It's never like I want to work in raw sewage. It's like I want to be in HR. I want to be in. I want to
be a psychologist. I want to be an attorney.
Yes.
If women want to do the same thing that a man should do, like let's say combat or like a police officer, I think they should pass the same physical tests that a man does if they want to be able to do that.
So essentially and that's what I was getting at. As far as equality of opportunity is concerned, we should not be like lowering standards for like combat or for like kicking in a door so that you can be a firefighter.
Yeah, but that wasn't her argument. Basically, wasn't the physical part. Like I don't want to be a 200-pound man. That's what she said. My whole thing is that the word I was looking for is opportunity. Equality of opportunity and equality of outcomes. Equality of outcomes is not reasonable. That is not reasonable. No. Remember, guys, read in the preamble of your Constitution, it states that you have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It does not happiness. One more time. It does not say happiness. You are not guaranteed. You're not endowed with these rights by these inalienable rights by your Creator. It is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It does not guarantee happiness.